well. Okay.
So
we're talking about safe infant sleep today, and with us is spokesperson for the American Academy of Pediatrics, Dr. Elizabeth Murray, and she's here today to kind of talk about this issue and give us a little quiz too, right?
Can I just say something about this? My kids were born 20-something years ago, all three of them. And we kept getting, through the years, the advice has changed dramatically, which I think is why there's so much confusion.
Right. And the science has changed. You know, it's something that we've really looked at very, very closely to try to figure out what's going on. You know, it initially started as SIDS. And with time, our medical examiners and other physicians have gotten involved and really tried to figure out what can we do to prevent these deaths of these babies who are seemingly well. And it turns out a lot of them are not, for reasons we don't know. A lot are actually unsafe sleeping situations. And that's unfortunately what we see here in Monroe County.
Okay, and about that, let's talk about that from a statistic standpoint. We have a real problem in this county.
We do. Unfortunately, Monroe County has the highest rate of preventable unsafe sleep infant deaths in the state, and last year we broke a record in the opposite direction in that we didn't really have any. We had very, very, very low number, and unfortunately this year our numbers are back up again, so we're not sure what happened last year, but we'd like to certainly reproduce
it. Well, the message has to get redelivered to new parents all the time. So
Toby, you've got a one-year-old.
Yeah, I'm a new parent, and we had a lot of those questions initially, and it turned out she was a tummy sleeper. We had major sleep issues. She hated being on her back in her crib. When she was strong enough to roll over, she started sleeping on her tummy. We didn't know if that was okay at such a young age.
And that's a very common question, right? What do we do when they start to roll? Do I still force them to be on their back? And the answer is you try, but the obstacles are going to be different. We know once you're about 4 months of age, the thing that we worry about the most is rolling over onto a stuffed animal or a pillow versus having a blanket cover their face or have it being the adult bedding be the risk factor.
For the visual learners out there, you brought some pictures to
I did. I thought we'll have a little bit of a quiz. So one of the big myths we hear a lot is if my baby is sleeping on her back and she throws up in her sleep, she'll choke. She'll choke on her vomit. And so we hear that a lot. And the thing is that actually our bodies are designed in a pretty smart way. So we think of our anatomy, right, how our body parts are put together, and we have our trachea, our windpipe is in the front, and then the esophagus, the food pipe is behind that. So actually, if they're on their back, and we've got a graphic here looking at that, showing the two different tubes, when you're on your back and you throw up, it'll actually just go back down your throat into your food pipe, if you will. So actually the airway is going to be just fine if a baby is on their back and they throw up a little bit. It's going to be just fine. It's okay. They're designed that way.
So that's a myth.
So myth one busted. And now another one we hear is, well, we're traveling. She's going to be nervous being in a different sleep environment. It'll just be safer to have her with us in our bed.
Co-sleeping.
Co-sleeping. And if we know that that's just not the case, and that is a huge, huge danger to children. Adult bedding, whether it be blankets, pillows, the softer mattress, they don't have the head control to move things out of the way. And it's not that people are overweight. It's not that people had too much to drink before they went to bed. It's nothing like that. It's a simple sheet could do it, and just get too close. So what we recommend is have a pack and play. Get your child a little bit used to that. Pack and play has the same rules: a nice firm mattress, a nice fitted sheet on their back to sleep with nothing else in there when they sleep. So here's a little example of a little sleeper in her pack and play, nothing else in the crib with her, no blankets, no stuffed animals. It's just maybe that's a familiar sheet, maybe there's something else that's familiar about it, so when you're traveling it's going to be okay.
Okay, we've got about a minute left.
Okay, next big one is if they sell it in the store, it must be okay. And so we see these beautiful ads of bumpers and blankets and wonderful looking cribs, and I'm going to register for my baby shower, it must be
Pinterest.
Must be okay. And so from a safety standpoint, the cribs, the regulated items, yes, if they sell it in a store, whether it's $40 or $400, it's going to be safe. But you can't say don't sell a blanket. Right. Blankets can be used for other reasons too, so we want no bumpers, no toys, nothing like that in the crib. So no. And so here's an example here, a picture that the audience is seeing of just saying no loose blankets. They have those sleep sacks that are kind of like little baby sleeping bags that their arms can go through. It won't accidentally go over their face. It'll keep them nice and warm.
Okay. Good
rule of thumb is you want your baby to have one additional layer than what you have on. So maybe they have a onesie on underneath their pajamas, something like that, and they'll stay nice and warm, and they'll be just fine. All right, so those are our big myths.
Thank you.
Boring is best.
Boring is best.
Boring is best. Back to sleep.
I had it all wrong.
Thank you so much.